The Philly real estate market is shifting fast, and today I'm breaking down what every landlord needs to know to stay ahead of the curve. Welcome back to the Philly Landlord Guy. I'm your host, Yuri Skripnichenko, the guy with impossible last name. Just think of me as your Philly Landlord Guy. I'm a licensed real estate broker and certified property manager here in Philadelphia. And today I'm going to bring you the latest market updates and some practical advice that you can actually use. So we're going to look at January 2026 and data for 19120 zip code. Talk about the maintenance nightmare of this recent cold snap that we're still experiencing today, and then zoom out to look at 70 years of housing market predictions that sound exactly like what we're hearing today. Let's look at the numbers first. Across the entire city of Philadelphia, the average days on the market for January 2026 was 67 days, which is 5 days higher than we saw average days on the market for the entire year of 2025. We do not know how 2026 will look like yet, but right now we see that January is already slower than the whole year for the 2025, and it's not looking great. Also, this weather is not helping with the snow, with the cold. People are not coming for showings. People don't want to move in the weather like this. So we do not see this market getting any better, and it looks like it's getting slower than it was. Now, if we zoom in on 19120 zip code that covers Olney and Louisville, the average days on the market was only 51 days in January, which is more than 2 weeks faster than average in the city, which sounds like a great place to have a rental right now. But at the same time, if you deep dive on the data, you will see that this 51 days, it's only across 4 units that were rented in January, which is not much to compare to the whole city of Philadelphia. But if we look back at year 2025 for the same zip code, 19120, you will see that average days on the market for rentals was 49 days and versus the city in whole 62. So it's still 2 weeks faster. And for those of you who were skeptical of the zip code or the area, it looks like the zip code is performing much better than the city in general. If you have a property in this area, you can account for it to be on the market if it becomes available sometime this season around 50 days or under 60 days, which is still sounds crazy, but this is the reality of our current market. And with all of that, we just survived the brutal cold snap. And if you're a landlord, you probably didn't sleep much. I did not. I had so many problems between record breaking snowfall and extreme colds. The emergency calls have been just popping up nonstop. We had frozen pipes, cracked lines, heaters that were fine just back in December, and now they've failing during this crazy cold of single digit temperatures. Remember, in Philly, heat season is October 1st through April 30th. So you are legally required to provide room temperature at least 68 degrees during that time. So if your heater breaks, you have to fix it for the tenants. And if a pipe breaks, it's not just a repair, it's an implied warranty of habitability issue. So here's the part that really hurts. Because of the snow and the cold, the landlord tenant court was forced to close. And if your hearing was scheduled for one of those days when the court was closed, they rescheduled it. Those hearings were getting pushed a full month ahead. Those hearings were pushed a whole month or more into the future. For a landlord waiting to get their property back, a 1 day storm just turned into a whole month of lost rent. This is why having 3 to 6 months of reserves in Philadelphia isn't just a good advice, it's a survival tactic. Make sure that you have enough in reserves to cover for things as evictions that take longer and longer in the city now. And also for the weather events like we're having now, you cannot predict this brutal cold or snow, but you can have reserves to make sure that you're able to fix that broken heater when it breaks, or to replace the pipes if they broke, frozen and broke, or just to make sure that you get ready for things like this and insulate your pipes to avoid issues in the future if we have weather like this again, which happens to, according to our weather channel, every 10 years. So now, interesting fact, lately, all of the headlines that I'm seeing saying the same thing, that market is bad, affordability is gone, the bubble is about to burst, and every single outlet where you see, or at least what I read or what I get in my feed, tells me the same thing, that the prices are not falling down, the property sellers are taking listings off the market is not affordable, nobody can afford to buy anything, interest rates are high. But I wanted to share something with you. This is just not a new script. The mainstream media has been saying this for over 70 years. I recently went to a real estate convention, and we had one of the real estate guys as a keynote speaker, and he had this great presentation. And I took a snapshot of one of the slides, and he has dates listed with different media outlets the last 70 years. So going back to 1947, Time magazine. The prices of houses seem to have reached a plateau, and there is reasonable expectancy that prices will decline. 1948, Science Digest. Houses cost too much for the mass market. Today's average price is out of reach for two-thirds of all buyers. 1969, Business Week. The goal of owning a home seems to be getting beyond the reach of more and more Americans. 1981, Money Magazine. The era of easy profits in real estate may be drawing to a close. 1985. If you're looking to buy, be careful. Rising home values are not a sure thing anymore. And you get the idea that over the years, the mass media keeps telling you the same thing, that the prices are going up, nobody can afford to buy, and there is no more money left to make in real estate. And every year it's getting more and more complicated. And we keep hearing this all the time. Yes, maybe the price is going up, but we're still here. We still make money in this business if you know how to run your business. And if you listen to those experts in 1947 to 1985, you missed out on greatest wealth building opportunity in history. If you listen to them, you didn't buy anything during that time. And they were using exactly the same tactic and exactly the same language that we're hearing and seeing now from every media outlet in 2026. Real estate is a long-term game, so do not let the short-term headlines freeze your progress and stop you from building up your future, even in a city like Philadelphia, where the city is creating a lot of problems for the landlords. This episode brought to you by Trust Art Realty. Managing rentals in Philly is complex, especially when your pipes are frozen or your heat is not working. Trust Art Realty handle the headaches so you don't have to. Trust Art Realty is offering all of our listeners a free rental analysis or management advice session. If you have any questions or you want to know if your property is priced right at today's market, reach out. You can email us at trustartrealty@phillylandlordguy.com or click the link in the show notes and somebody will get in touch with you shortly. So now before we wrap up, I need to bring something urgent to your attention that is happening right here in Philly right now. Our city council is back in session and they keep creating these crazy bills that affect all of us landlords and affect the way how we can conduct our business or how much losses we have from this business. So they have introduced two new bills, two pieces of legislation. And these bills are moving quickly. And if passed, they will change how you run your rental business in the city. All of the landlords organizations in the city sounding the alarm. And they are asking every landlord, every housing provider to show up and say no to those proposals at the public hearing at City Hall on February 10th. 2026 at 10 a.m. City Hall, room number 400. Here's why the local landlord community is concerned. These bills add some very heavy muscle and teeth to the city housing code. The main issues we're looking at are good cause eviction for everyone. And if you do not know what it is, you can look back into our pieces. We have an episode talking about good eviction protection for month-to-month lease in Philadelphia and why it's not a good idea to have it. But again, currently it applies only to leases under 1 year, but this new bill would expand this to cover all residential tenancies, making it much harder to non-renew a lease without a specific legal reason. Another one is mandatory rent abatement. If you don't have an active rental license or a certificate of rental suitability, the tenant would be entitled to a full refund of abatement of rent for that period while it was not active or while you didn't have that certificate. Another one is burden of proof shifts from tenant to you. The bill places the burden of proof to you, the owner, to prove that your actions were not retaliatory. They trying to put a proactive inspection program in place that authorize LNI to inspect every rental unit in the city on a regular cycle rather than waiting for a complaint. That means that they will have an inspection done before you can place a tenant in place. And can you imagine how much longer it will take to do that with the city? Your timeline will be extended tremendously without the 67 days on the market that we're seeing in January. Add 67 more days for LNI to inspect your property, and you have quarter of a year a vacant unit sitting waiting for a new tenant to move in. And this is not it. They also adding forced notices of violations. So if you receive a violation from the city, according to this bill, you would be required to proactively notify your tenants of any violations or if your license lapses. Essentially, you will need to tell them that I don't have the license or we have violations, so you may withhold your rent and do not pay your rent. This is critical that you, as a Philadelphia landlord, go out there, show up in the city hall, and vote no against this bill. Show them that you care about this business and that this will hurt it. As usual, we stay on top of what is happening in the local real estate market and what is happening with local real estate laws. So you don't have to. If you like this content, if you like this episode, like it on YouTube or whatever platform you're listening on, share it, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.